What's up, all? It's Jacob here with AllDriveNoDrop. I'm very excited to talk about these Honolulu J6 shapes. We got the NF and we have the FC Plus. These are a more traditional elongated shape. They had the J7, which was their extra elongated, but these are true 16.5 by 7.5 inch elongated paddles, coming in at $175 after the code AllDriveNoDrop. And I'll just get it out of the way. These feel like just the elongated version of a J2NF or a J2FC Plus. This is exactly what I was envisioning when I wanted to play with the J7NF. These are what you would expect. They have that huge sweet spot that the J2NF and the J2FC Plus have. They have that really great, consistent, all across the sweet spot power, and they have a little bit of boost in power on bigger swings than the J2 shape. I was playing so well with these. So we'll get into it. I want to get into the stats, but we'll get into the specs. If you are unfamiliar with the NF series, they have these in all the shapes now: wide body, hybrid, extra elongated, two different hybrids with longer handles. But we are focusing on these new J6 regular elongated shapes today. So the J6NF and the J6FC Plus, what's different? First, the J6NF has a facing layer of carbon fiber, fiberglass, carbon fiber. Makes it a little bit stiffer, a little bit poppier than the J6FC Plus. Now, the cores. You have an EPP foam core in the middle with an EVA foam perimeter, but this one is notched. And I'll show that on the screen. What does notched mean? Basically, you just have like interlocking pieces, whereas the J6FC Plus has the EPP in the middle with an EVA foam ring around, no notched, and no fiberglass in the facing layer. What that means is it makes this J6FC Plus a little bit softer, pockets the ball a little bit more, you get a little bit more dwell on the FC Plus. So if you're someone that likes to manipulate, shape the ball a little bit more, this will give you a little bit boost. And then the J6NF, that one's going to give you a little bit more pop. Top end power, I think they're both pretty similar. I would give a slight edge to the J6NF, but honestly, they're so close that you probably won't notice a difference on the court. Okay, so let's run down the specs real quick. Okay, so the Honolulu J6NF, like I was saying, it has that EPP foam core with the EVA perimeter, and you see there it's notched. It is the elongated shape, carbon fiber, fiberglass carbon fiber, dimensions 16.5 by 7.5, 16 millimeter core. Weight, mine came in at 8.2 ounces. Handle length of 5.75 inches is what I'm measuring here. Grip circumference of 4.125. So swing weight range of 116 to 120. Mine came in at 118. That's perfectly fine, especially for how well this paddle plays stock. That's about the average swing weight for an elongated. Twist weight of 6.63. Now that's a twist weight that you don't see on most stock elongateds. That's more like when you weight it up, so that's an excellent twist weight. FC Plus, the only difference there, EVA foam perimeter instead of the notched foam. And then that one also came in at 8.2 ounces, 118 swing weight, 6.54 twist weight, and no fiberglass in the facing layer. So let's see these handle lengths real quick. So you can see here, obviously, both of these, same shape, same thing. Let's show you with the Huarache Alpha Pro Power, which is another popular shape, the Huarache X. You can see there that the handle length you got a little bit more room because of that taper there. So I think on the Huarache X, they list the handle length at 6 inches. This isn't too far off, just slightly shorter, but honestly, ton of room for two hands on this. I was having no problems. My Tui's been getting so much better, and I was not feeling restricted. And here, I'll show you with the handle length compared to the J2NF. You can see there's a pretty big difference with the J2NF there. So I am not worried about this handle length at all for Tuis. I feel confident that you will have enough room on the Tuis. Let's get into the gameplay, and then we'll follow that up with some paddle comparisons. So let me talk about the J6NF first. So the J6NF, just like the J2NF, plays very consistent. These have really big sweet spots. So honestly one of the biggest sweet spots for an elongated that I've played with. So I was playing the stock, and usually after, you know, two to four games, I'll start adding weight. I really didn't feel the need to add weight, but of course, you know, I had to tinker with it, added some weight. I didn't feel like the weight was adding any benefit for me, besides, you know, a little extra power, but I just didn't want to slow my hands down anymore. If I felt like the sweet spot and the power was already good, so I took the weight off and played both stock the whole time after that, because I really liked how they played stock. So the J6NF has that consistent power across the sweet spot. It feels on the denser side, the ball comes off really crisp. It is not, you know, a super soft paddle, but it's not super stiff either. It's right there in kind of the average range. So you get that nice crisp feel. You have a really good connection to the ball. The fiberglass helps give you more of that instant pop. So you're starting at a pretty good power level. This really helps with the flicks. You just have to get that good wrist movement and let the paddle do the work. So spin on these is really good. These come in, you know, Honolulu paddles always are coming in really gritty. No difference here with the J6NF. Felt really good. Shaping the ball, big serves, big drives with the power. This is definitely a power paddle. This is not the most powerful paddle on the market, but for me, a very, very good controllable power, especially with that sweet spot. It comes off very consistently. There are some other power paddles where the power can differ greatly when you hit it on different places in the paddle. This one's a lot more consistent. So with that, the control is really, really good with the sweet spot. The drops, the dinks, I was having great success. Now, where I noticed most, the biggest difference between this and the J2NF is that handle length on my two-handed backhands for speed ups and dinks helps so much. I was really getting just excellent speed ups with my two-handed backhand and forehand speed ups. It's just a lot easier for me to manipulate the ball, get a little bit more spin and follow through on my speed ups. So that helped a lot. Great volleys out of the air too. So that played excellent. Now, the J6FC Plus. Definitely notice, you know, a slight drop in pop, but the power level at the top end seemed to be about the same as the J6NF. Now you do get more of a, you know, like a Gen 3 dwelly feel with the J6FC Plus. It's not like a huge difference from the J6NF, but you do feel a little bit more dwell. You feel a little bit less dense. It's a little bit softer. So if that's something you like in the feel, I think it comes down to more of a feel thing. And then it comes down to more of, do you want a little extra pop in the J6NF? I think the J6FC Plus is going to be easier to control for some people just because of that less pop. You can shape the ball a little bit more. So I did notice that the drips and the drops were better with the FC Plus for sure. And then same thing, dinks and speed ups, really good with the J6FC Plus. Maybe a little bit easier to place those too without having the instant pop. And then like obviously the counters I preferred with the J6NF, but very, very good. And then as far as the stability goes, the stability on both of these is excellent. You know, blocking really fast drives, resetting in the transition zone. I felt very, very comfortable playing these stock. I think that you'll be pretty impressed playing with an elongated paddle stock that lets you have that stability, lets you have those great resets. I really enjoyed the resetability and the blocking potential that these paddles have. So all around, that's how these paddles performed on the court. Let's talk about the performance stats and how those stack up to other paddles now. Okay, bringing the stats up on the screen, I got this sorted by power. So we can see the Honolulu J6NF fits in very well. It's right there with the Pro 4 Agassi 16mm, Pro 4 Perseus, above that J7NF, slightly above the hybrid Bread and Butter Loco. I imagine that the elongated Bread and Butter Loco would be above this in power and pop. I just don't have that at the moment. Body helix flick, gearbox, and the rhombus ripple and the boomsticks are above the J6NF in power. So that's how the power stacks up. The J6FC Plus right below it. Honestly, you could flip-flop these. I'm sure if I did a couple runs of different power tests, I would get numbers flipped between the two. They're so consistent. Now the J6NF definitely has more pop. You can see the pop level is a little bit above that FC Plus there. As far as spin, excellent spin. We got 2320 on the J6NF and then 2420 on the FC Plus, and obviously both coming in at 195 before code, down to 175 with code. I think these fit really well into the power paddle category. So that's how those stats stack up. Let's jump into the conclusion and I'll give you my recommendation. Okay, so do I recommend the J6NF and the J6FC Plus? Yeah. I'm really liking both of these. I've been kind of flirting with the elongated shape as a new main potential for a little bit here, and it definitely has me kind of leaning there. I think the combination of this long handle with the reach, with the sweet spot size, and the good swing weight to get all of that stuff, you know, swing weight is fine, especially if you're playing it stock, and you could put a little bit more weight. What would I do with the weight? Whew, I might wrap it in like a thin layer up here, like some edge tape or something. Just get a little bit more plow through. I don't want to increase the swing weight too much more, but if I wanted to add a little bit more power, maybe I'd put a little bit of edge tape up here or a little bit of tungsten tape. But honestly, just play so well stock. We'll see. We're gonna do some more tinkering and we'll keep you updated. But for now, I'd recommend just playing it stock, enjoying it, and then seeing you know, what you want to try next. So I think if you want a power paddle in the elongated shape that has one of the biggest sweet spots on the market, has one of the best spins on the market, and is a lot easier to control, in my opinion, than the Boomstick and the Joola Pro 4s. I think it is easier to control than the Loco hybrid. I think that the Loco hybrid is really good at what it does. I think that if you want to maximize your firepower, then yeah, you want to go with the Loco. You want to go with the Boomsticks, and that's great, right? What I really like about these J6s is that I feel like I get that power, I get that control as well, and I get that spin. So I'm okay with that. I can sacrifice a little bit of firepower where I get a more consistent sweet spot and I feel like I'm more in control of the ball. So if you're looking to get these are now on pre-order, so you can go check that out. You know, 195 goes down to 175 with the code AllDriveNoDrop, and feel free to ask me any questions you want. I'm always happy to answer those. I mean, obviously look at that sleek new look too, right? That is a beautiful new look. So I think a lot of people will be happy with that. They got a little sleeker design here, and I'm excited about that. I think it looks great compared to the previous versions that they've had. So yeah, give this video a like if you found it helpful. Drop a comment if you have any questions, and subscribe to keep the channel growing. Help me bring more content to you, and you know, we're always putting out great new podcasts every week, so you don't want to miss out on those. Thank you so much, and go play some pickleball.